Have you ever really stopped to think about what's going on behind the scenes of your favorite apps? There's this invisible structure, this plan that exists long before anyone even thinks about writing code. Today, we're going to pull back that curtain and talk about that blueprint. Let's dive in. It's a question that I find myself coming back to all the time. How does a simple idea, just a little spark, turn into a full-blown complex app that you use every day on your phone? It kind of feels like magic, right? But it's not. It's actually a really thoughtful, deliberate process. And you know what? It always starts with a plan. Okay, to really get this, let's think about something a bit more physical. Imagine you're trying to build a house, but you have no blueprint, no plans at all. Can you picture it? The builders would just be guessing. It would be total chaos, super stressful, and the final house, well, it would probably be a disaster, right? Building software is exactly like that. You just have to have a blueprint. So, in the world of software, that blueprint has an official name. We call it software requirements. And really, all it is a document that describes exactly what the software is supposed to do, what services it should provide, and what constraints or rules it has to operate under. It's basically the single source of truth that the entire team can look at and say, yep, this is what we're building. And this is why getting that blueprint right from the start is so incredibly important. See, a little mistake or a misunderstanding at this stage, it doesn't just stay little. It creates this ripple effect that causes huge problems, costly fixes, and just major headaches way down the line. So, here's where it gets interesting. This blueprint isn't actually just one single thing. It really exists on two different levels, and it's meant for two different audiences. Think of it like this. You've got the client's rough sketch of their dream house, and then you've got the super detailed schematics the builder actually uses to construct it. Okay, so first up, you've got what's called the user requirement. This is the big picture vision. It's written in just plain, simple language that anyone can understand. The customer, the people who will actually use the app, the managers, it's all about what the system should do from their point of view, with zero technical jargon. This is that client sketch we were talking about. Then, on the other side, you've got the system requirement. This is the nitty-gritty, the detailed breakdown for the engineers and the developers. This document takes that big picture vision and translates it into very precise technical instructions on exactly how the software is going to work. This is the builder's super detailed schematic. But at the end of the day, both of these documents are really about just one thing: clarity. A shared understanding with no ambiguity about what it is we're all trying to build together. And that clarity, well, that's the real foundation for everything. All right, so if we were to peek inside this blueprint, we'd find two main types of information. It's not just a big list of features. It's also about describing the essential qualities of the system. This really breaks down into two big categories. So on one side, you have the functional requirements. These are the what's. They're the specific things the system does. A great example is a user should be able to search their appointment lists. It's a feature, an action. Then on the other side, you have non-functional requirements. These are the hows. They're all about the qualities of the system, things like speed or security or reliability. For instance, a requirement might be the system needs to be available during normal working hours. See, that's not a feature you click on, but it is absolutely critical to how well the system works. And in a lot of ways, these qualities, the how well it does it, are just as important, if not more so. Think about it. An app can have all the coolest features in the world, but if it's slow, or it's not secure, or it's always crashing, it's basically useless, right? So that brings up a good question. How does this blueprint actually get created? Well, it's not something that one person just writes up and says, here, it's done. It's really more of a journey, a dynamic and collaborative process. And that journey usually has three main steps. First, you discover. This is where you talk to everyone involved, we call them stakeholders, to really truly understand the problem you're trying to solve. Next, you define. That's where you actually write everything down clearly in those requirements documents. And finally, you validate. This is super important. You go back and check with the customer to make sure that the blueprint you've created really does describe the system they actually want and need. So, here's a little something I want you to take with you. The next time you're using an app and it just frustrates you, maybe it feels clunky, or it's super slow, or it's just not doing what you think it should, just pause for a second and ask yourself, what do you think was missing from its blueprint?
Did they maybe overlook a key feature? Or, more likely, did they forget about one of those crucial qualities, like making sure it was fast enough?
Because in the end, that's really what all of this comes down to. It doesn't matter if you're building a house or an app. The act of creating that blueprint, it's an act of communication. And that clear, shared understanding between people, that is the true foundation of all great creative work. Thanks so much for spending this time with me.